Welcome back to Sun On Sports, our state hockey tournament edition. Mike Shaughnessy, Nick Clark, and John Sherman here with you today. Mr. Clevin right now is sitting inside the cozy confines of the press box up top of the XL Energy Center, getting ready to take in Eden Prairie and Hill Murray in the first of what should be 4 pretty good quarterfinals today in the Class AA tournament. Eden Prairie obviously came through and were the champions of Section 6. That alone is a feat in itself. John, I know you were there to watch the final with Minnetonka last week, and we had talked previously about how well Minnetonka was playing coming in. They got plenty of shots in that game, but Nick Leddy and the Eden Prairie defense and their goaltending and the Eagles as a whole were just too much, and they really earned this spot.
First of all, Nick, let's talk about Greg Clevin down in that press area. They better bake some extra cookies, and they better put out some extra Diet Coke, because he's going to be hunkered in there. He's going to be watching 4 games today, and I don't think he'll probably leave that seat.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of people that are envious of him because it's a popular ticket today. The high school league this morning announced only 500 tickets remain for the morning session, and just slightly over 1,000 for the afternoon session. Both tickets, I guess they'll be on sale an hour before the sessions begin, and I imagine they'll be sold out about 5 to 10 minutes after that.
Nick, the Wild in their advertising talk about the team of 18,000. I think we're going to see the team of 19,500 down there today.
Yeah.
The way they're squeezing people into that arena, and it is a great event. It was a great event when I first started here in 1972. Remember my first state hockey tournament? That was a thrill. Still a thrill to go down there and see this great high school hockey, and now that we have the best venue probably in the world, the XL Energy Center, it's even more fun.
Yeah, the high school league is boasting already about how they plan on setting another tournament attendance record, and frankly, I don't know where they put the people. I was there last year for a lot of the games, including that Friday night semifinal, which included Yana Benilde, maybe the best hockey game I've ever watched in person.
Great game.
There was not an empty seat in the building. How they're going to set a record and top, what they fit in there last year will be interesting. But whoever is there is going to have a treat. We can talk about the quarterfinals a little bit. Kind of alluded to Eden Prairie. They have Hill Murray in the first quarterfinal this morning at 11 a.m. Hill Murray's a fantastic story. The defending state champions dismissed 4 prominent players, 4 seniors off the team just around Christmas this year. But here they are. They survived what was a really tough Section 4 tournament. Needed 2 overtimes to beat White Bear, then 2 more to beat Stillwater in the section final. And you got to tip your hat to the Pioneers. They're probably going to have their hands a little too full with Eden Prairie this morning. But what a story for Hill Murray.
They seeded the tournament this year, of course, and Eden Prairie's number 2, Edina's number 1. I kind of consider those teams co-number 1s, Nick. I mean, those are a couple of great teams, very evenly matched, and there are a bunch of other teams in there that could give them trouble, no doubt about it.
The second quarterfinal this morning, Blaine and Century play. Mike, you had the opportunity to watch Century play against Lakeville North, I believe, in the Section 1 final last week. Blaine was awfully impressive. They handled Centennial 7-1 in the Section 5 final. Centennial's a team, they beat Edina this year, and they've been rolling. But Blaine needed overtime to beat Osseo in the semis, and then they got into the final and cruised. Century have a chance?
I don't think so. Blaine was my dark horse choice to win the tournament because they've been playing awfully well late in the season. As you mentioned, they blew out Centennial in the section championship game, and Centennial, if you might recall, is a team that went to Braemar Arena in mid-season and beat Edina.
Yes.
Century is a young team. They're probably going to be stronger in the next 2 years than they are this year. They had to change goalies in mid-season because their starter got hurt, and let's not forget the team they faced in the section championship game. In their section championship game, went into it 9-18.
True.
I think Century, if they played in the Lake Conference, would not finish above the middle. So I really do not see Blaine having a lot of trouble in that game. Again, I think Century is going to be a stronger team next year and the year after that than they are now, even though they're in the state tournament this year.
Heck of accomplishment for them to get here, though. They were the 4th seed out in that section, and it's a team, if you remember, 2 years ago, they came down with a couple guys, Joe Konepke, Garrett Grinstead, and they upset Hill Murray in the quarterfinals, and they had that building on their side, and then they ended up, I think, finishing 3rd. I think they beat Burnsville in overtime that year to finish 3rd.
Yes.
And so, they've kind of become maybe the prominent Rochester school. For years it was John Marshall and Mayo that were the 2 teams that come out of Section 1 and come out here and usually represent the section pretty well. I guess over the past few years, maybe Section 1's really struggled up here other than Century's team a couple years ago. But, to Century's credit, getting here is maybe something, like you said, ahead of schedule. But they're going to get a taste of it, and they'll likely be back.
Century beat 2 teams seated higher than them in Section 1 just to get to the state tournament.
Yep.